In a world full of images and symbols, what we perceive at first glance is only the tip of the iceberg. Have you ever wondered if the symbols that surround us, the ones we see every day, are actually designed for something more than simple representation? Today, we will venture into the shadows, exploring the hidden secrets that the elites have kept for centuries. What if I told you that reality as you know it isn't as free as it seems? Behind every emblem, every logo, every figure, there exists a hidden language that manipulates our beliefs and emotions, a language that goes beyond words. Today, we will reveal how the most powerful forces in society have used symbols to control not only what we see, but also what we think, what we feel, and ultimately what we believe. This is a journey through hidden knowledge, where truth and illusion intertwine, and where you will discover how symbols don't just represent ideas, but create them, and perhaps even alter your own perception of reality. Are you ready to uncover what lies beyond the veil? The most intriguing part is that often these symbols guide us without us even realizing it. Since ancient times, humanity has used symbols to understand and connect with the unknown. The circle, for instance, represents infinity and perfection, while the triangle symbolizes the connection between the earthly and the divine. Entire civilizations built their identities around symbols that expressed power, spirituality, and order. Over time, this knowledge was appropriated, refined, and used in ways that go beyond what the eyes can see. What makes this language so powerful is its ability to access the subconscious, the part of the mind where our emotions, instincts, and beliefs are shaped. It is no coincidence that governments, corporations, and even secret societies have invested so much effort in mastering the use of symbols. They understand that in order to control how a society thinks, they must first influence how it feels. So the question is, how much of what you think is a personal choice is actually a reaction to symbols you didn't even know were there? What are these silent images trying to tell you, and more importantly, who controls the messages behind them? These are questions we must reflect on, because often what we don't question is what holds the greatest power over us. Today we'll discover how symbols have a surprising power to shape our emotions, decisions, and even our perception of reality. You'll learn how this hidden language has been used for centuries by elite groups, religions, and corporations to influence the masses in ways that are nearly imperceptible. Understanding these secrets could be the first step in taking back control of your own mind. Since the dawn of humanity, symbols have been the bridge connecting the visible world with the invisible. Before written language was developed, the first civilizations drew figures on stones and caves, trying to capture the essence of something greater than themselves. These primitive symbols were not just images, they were tools to express what words could not describe: the mystery of the cosmos, the power of nature, and the quest for connection with the divine. The Egyptians, for example, elevated symbols to a spiritual science. The Eye of Horus, perhaps one of the most recognized symbols even today, was more than an artistic representation. It symbolized protection, healing, and divine power, serving as a channel between mortals and gods. Carved into tombs and temples, the Eye of Horus represented eternal vigilance, a reminder that everything is always being watched and guided. However, it also carried a message of control, the idea that those who possessed this symbol had access to heavenly power to rule over men. Eastern civilizations, in turn, introduced symbols like mandalas, geometric designs that not only represent the harmony of the universe, but also serve as tools for meditation and self-reflection. Every detail of a mandala is designed to guide the mind toward elevated states of consciousness, helping the practitioner transcend the material and reach the spiritual. These symbols were seen as maps for the soul, allowing individuals to navigate invisible dimensions. However, symbols were not just spiritual. They also served as tools of power and social control. In many ancient cultures, leaders used symbols to reinforce their authority. The scepter of a king, the solar disk of a pharaoh, or the ornate crowns of religious leaders were more than decorations. By appropriating these symbols, leaders communicated that their positions were not just earthly, but divinely sanctioned. The power of symbols transcended cultural boundaries. The circle, for example, was universally associated with infinity and wholeness. It appears in megalithic monuments like Stonehenge and in indigenous rituals, always representing unity and the eternal cycle of life. Meanwhile, the triangle, with its solid base and elevated apex, symbolized spiritual ascension and balance. It was widely used in pyramids and temples around the world. Before being rationally analyzed, symbols evoke emotions, awaken ancestral memories, and create an instant connection with something greater. No matter where you are or what your culture is, certain symbols seem to speak directly to the soul, conveying meanings that transcend time and space. But this ability to connect with the invisible also turned symbols into tools of manipulation. The pentagram, which symbolized harmony in Pythagorean teachings, was appropriated by various traditions and later associated with occultism. The all-seeing eye, with roots in ancient Egypt, appears in official documents and even in coin designs, carrying an aura of surveillance and control. Symbols not only influence individuals, but also shape entire societies. These visual icons become the invisible foundations upon which communities, nations, and even global economies are built. Since the beginning of civilization, leaders and institutions have recognized the power of symbols to create social cohesion. A clear example of this is national symbols, such as flags and emblems. A country's flag, with its specific colors and form, is not just a piece of fabric. It is a symbol laden with emotional meaning. When it waves on a mast, it stirs feelings of pride, belonging, and loyalty, connecting the individual with the idea of a collective identity. In times of crisis, these symbols become even more powerful, evoking unity and strength in moments of challenge. Religious symbols serve a similar purpose, but on a deeper level. They not only unite communities around a common faith, but also shape the spiritual and moral beliefs that sustain those communities. They are constant reminders of the spiritual truths that a religion seeks to convey. These symbols connect generations to a shared tradition, reinforcing collective spirituality and promoting a sense of continuity. In the modern era, corporate symbols have entered this realm, playing an increasingly significant role in shaping cultural identities. With a single symbol, a logo can evoke aspirations, values, and even lifestyles. These corporate symbols, often designed to mimic the emotional impact of religious or national symbols, create subconscious loyalties in a world where consumption is one of the most powerful forces. They generate a collective programming in which individuals, often unknowingly, internalize the values and beliefs associated with these symbols, or even with the brand itself. This programming is particularly effective because it is based on repetition and familiarity. The more a symbol is seen and reinforced, the more deeply it becomes rooted in the collective mind. For example, consider the impact of symbols in architecture and public spaces. Government buildings with classical columns evoke the authority and permanence of ancient civilizations. Sports stadiums are adorned with sponsor logos that become part of the cultural experience. In religious temples, stained glass windows and sculptures filled with symbolism do more than decorate the space. They create an atmosphere of reverence and introspection. These environments, saturated with symbols, shape people's perceptions of power, spirituality, and belonging, often without their awareness. They help create a sense of connection to something greater, whether it be a nation, a religion, or a social cause. This collective connection can be a source of strength and inspiration, but it can also be manipulated to promote division or consolidate power. This is just a conversation about a topic, a reflection on ideas. We are not here to attack certain symbols, religions, countries, or cultures. We are simply observing the broader picture. This duality of meanings and uses leads us to an essential reflection. To what extent do symbols shape our beliefs and our consent? For example, a crucifix can connect a community of faith, but it can also be used to justify exclusion or reinforce dogmas. Similarly, while a flag can inspire national unity, it can also fuel feelings of superiority or conflict. Through constant repetition and strategic placement in monuments, coins, and works of art, these images silently shape collective perception while concealing the intentions of those at the top. A classic example is the all-seeing eye, with roots in the Eye of Horus. This symbol appears on coins and official documents, surrounded by a triangle and often placed above a pyramid. This representation not only serves as a reminder that power is above and observing, but suggests that there is an elite that governs while the masses remain at the base, unaware of the forces guiding them. The pyramid, Another widely used symbol is a visual metaphor for a hierarchical system where knowledge and power are reserved for the few. This very concept of exclusivity was explored by secret societies like the Illuminati, who, according to numerous historical and speculative accounts, mastered the art of using symbols to maintain their influence. Although the existence of these organizations is debated, the presence of their symbols in contexts of power is undeniable and has a profound impact on the collective unconscious. Consider the case of the US dollar, where the all-seeing eye is surrounded by the Latin phrase annuit coeptis, he has favored our undertakings, and the expression novus ordo seclorum, new order of the ages. It is possible that the combination of these elements communicates a message of constant surveillance, reinforcing the idea of a global order controlled by forces beyond the reach of ordinary people. Monuments and architecture also play a significant role in this symbolic manipulation. Large buildings like obelisks, cathedrals, and capitals often incorporate geometric shapes and cosmic alignments that evoke power and authority. In many cultures, it is believed that these buildings are strategically located at points of spiritual energy, amplifying their influence over the collective unconscious. In other words, it's not just about what you see, but where you see it. This symbolic manipulation goes beyond political control. It reaches into the realm of spiritual power. For centuries, powerful groups have understood that by capturing people's spiritual imaginations, they could mold their beliefs and allegiances. Symbols that once represented spiritual freedom have often been transformed into tools of control. The crucifix, for instance, began as a symbol of sacrifice and redemption, but in many historical contexts, it was wielded to reinforce the Church's authority over its followers. The message was unmistakable. Spiritual salvation was inseparable from obedience to the institution. Symbols carry a profound duality. They can awaken or imprison. Elites and secret societies grasped this duality and used it to their advantage. By shaping the meaning of symbols and strategically placing them within culture, they not only solidified their power, but also constructed barriers that limited the spiritual and mental freedom of the masses. This prompts us to question how much of our belief systems have been shaped by external forces, and what happens when we choose to see symbols for what they truly are. When we encounter symbols, they trigger something in the subconscious, stirring emotional layers we often don't fully understand. It's as though they vibrate at a frequency that resonates with our deepest essence. This happens because symbols engage a part of the brain called the limbic system, responsible for emotions and instincts. Before our rational mind has a chance to analyze a symbol, it has already sparked an emotional reaction, a sense of comfort, reverence, urgency, or even fear. The power of symbols extends beyond the biological. In ancient spiritual traditions, they were used as gateways to higher states of consciousness, helping humanity transcend the physical and explore the spiritual. Consider the yantras and mandalas of Eastern traditions. These geometric patterns align the mind with the cosmic order. By meditating on these symbols, practitioners enter deep states of concentration, allowing the subconscious to shed distractions and connect with the infinite. Likewise, the Eye of Horus in ancient Egypt was more than just a symbol of protection. It was a visual reminder of the connection between the material and the spiritual realms. It was believed that by contemplating this symbol, individuals could align their inner vision with divine watchfulness, strengthening their intuition and awareness. When we see a symbol repeatedly, our subconscious becomes familiar with it, interpreting it as trustworthy or desirable. This very concept was explored in spiritual practices. But there's something even deeper at play. When a symbol resonates with the subconscious, it awakens ancestral memories and universal archetypes etched into our collective psyche. Carl Jung referred to this as the collective unconscious, a repository of images and ideas that transcend time and culture. These archetypes are activated by symbols, guiding our emotions and beliefs in ways that often elude rational understanding. This is why symbols remain powerful tools of transformation or manipulation, depending on who wields them and for what purpose. This duality prompts a crucial reflection. Symbols are neutral in essence, but their impact on us is shaped by context and our ability to recognize their influence. When we understand their power and meaning, we can turn unconscious manipulation into a tool for self-awareness and spiritual growth. In spiritual traditions across the world, each symbol carries not only meaning but also energy, capable of awakening heightened states of consciousness and fostering deep connections between the human and the spiritual. Each circle within a mandala represents the cycles of life, death, and rebirth, while more intricate patterns reflect the structure of creation itself. The practice of drawing or meditating on mandalas is deeply spiritual, navigating both inward and outward simultaneously. These symbols operate on multiple levels, from the physical to the spiritual, helping practitioners transcend the limitations of conscious thought and commune with the universe. Their power lies in their simplicity and depth, allowing individuals to project personal meanings while accessing universal truths. The strength of these symbols stems from their connection to the human psyche. Those who grasp their true meaning can use them to rediscover their spiritual essence. Conversely, when symbols are stripped of their context, they open the door to manipulation. Symbols can either inspire or imprison, depending on how they are understood and used. They remind us that, though we are individuals, we are also part of a greater whole, connected by a symbolic language that transcends borders and generations. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to like and subscribe to our channel. Share it with others so they too can benefit from this message. And don't forget to leave a comment below, sharing your thoughts, reflections, and experiences. Thanks again for watching. Take care and see you soon.